Here we go.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, Nancy Jean. I'm so glad you're here with me for day one.
I'm so excited to be the day one on someone else's nine candles.
Well, one hand washes the other, right?
Right, right.
That's awesome. Hi, everybody in the chat. Please bear with me. This is like really day one with a large group. So if I don't catch up, please forgive me. Forgive me. Okay. So, this nine candles is going to start in just a few minutes. But before we get into that, um, I want Nancy Jean to please bring us up to speed on your health.
Okay. Um, I'm working with my doctors. We've kind of decided against the blood thinner thing they wanted to put me through because they couldn't tell me what tests they could run to see if it's effective. And I have a genetic test that says my blood doesn't make plaque. My cardiologist is still uh, checking that out because he said, I don't know what to say, but he said the blood thinning doesn't have a lot to do with plaque. But then when I read about what it does, that's what it's totally there for. It's because plaque's a little stuff in your bloodstream that as you get older makes your vessels harden.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a genetic test run on all kinds of health issues, and I'm one of 5% of people in the whole world who cannot make plaque. There is no plaque in my blood. And I know, and it's the guy said you're the genetic winner, but really, one time they'd scan my arteries looking for plaque when I was having a problem, and they said we can't find any plaque. And I said, well, don't ask me if you think it's supposed to be there. And then I found out I don't have any. So anyway, we had the conversation today with them, and as a consequence, I'm going to have to be seeing a pulmonologist and a cardiologist because they don't know what made me sick. All they know is that both of those systems broke down at the same time and didn't kill me. And that within 3 days, I was revived and back to normal human levels. So,
That,
and the only artifact that I have that's really pissing me off is I lost the hearing in my right ear.
oh, still.
It's still not back. And they keep saying, hang in there. We don't know. We'll see. And so I'm just going to wait. I mean, there are also a lot of the medicines they use to clean out the IVs in your arms. It leaves crystals in your body. And one of the places those can gather is in your ear. And it can take 6 to 8 months for them to clear out. And
Wow.
there's not a real good way to. I have, that's another appointment I don't need. So I'm still on supportive oxygen at night. I'm free of oxygen during the day, so I can have a candle on my desk. Yay!
Yay! Another woot woot.
Whoop, whoop. Um, and I did. My kids created a GoFundMe because they figured out what the costs are going to be out. I didn't want to look at it; it was so depressing, and with hospital bills. So it's in the chat. I've already put it in there. It's GoFundMe, and it's got some weird number letters. If you're interested, you can get a hold of me at um, crystaldirections.nancyjean@gmail.com, which is my direct email. And I can send you any linkage or more information you want about it. People have been very generous. And a lot of people have been putting me on. Linda G had me on her prayer thing the other day, and we saw a lot of my daughter said, were you just on? Were you talking about your? I said, no, I haven't talked about it really to anybody. And she said, we just got 6 people pumping money in like a 5 minute period. And it was right after Linda G had talked. I'm going to be on with Linda G next week. We're going to talk about things. My health is fine, but the biggest part for me is the way I practice and where my spiritual life is supposed to be. It shifted when I decided to live. And they told me you will not be who you were before. And who and how I function is going to keep going. Now I've verified, still going to be building grids. I'm still going to be teaching people, but for my channel, we're going back to square one. We're going back to the stuff I did initially back in December 2020. I've got all my notebooks and what the shows were about. They'll have a lot more information in them than they had then. And every Tuesday, I'm going to be highlighting uh, to get you a deep understanding of the practice. Like I'm going to have a whole show on the number one. I'm going to have a whole show on the number 2. I'm going to have a whole show on the real basics of using the tools we have and how they work. And in tarot, I'm not going to go through card by card. I already teach a tarot class, but and right now I'm in the middle of teaching a garden class because people who own the Oracle Gardens, don't write me. There are no more. We're done. They're out there, but I'm going to be explaining how they work. And the Oracle Garden's kind of fun because after I got better, I channeled a description of. I was talking. What I did is I said, "What should I do?" And they said, "Type it in. Type a picture of the Oracle Garden, and I'll show you what it looks like." If I can get
Please do.
If I can get my camera there.
While we're waiting for Nancy. Oh, there we go. Okay.
And I just sent the picture of what the garden looks like to chat, and I said, "What is this?" And it says, "The pattern of this scarf creates an energetic circuit that aligns with sacred geometry, amplifying the intention behind each reading. The grid forms a map to balance the body, the mind, the spirit, while rooting you into your clarity and grounding you in your intuition." So that, and I gave it no description but this picture. I didn't tell it that when we developed this, I developed it with people. We were using sacred geometry to develop it.
So for my channel, if one of my moderators would make sure that all of Nancy Jean's information is posted in the chat on our channel. I tried to get it up there and get it in everything, but I'm so green at this, I failed miserably. I'm sorry.
You'll learn all about banners. You'll get it down.
Yeah, I'll learn. Absolutely. So if someone could do that for me, please, and thank you. Well, I'm so glad that this is a positive move forward for you. And I'm so glad that you're going back to the way it was when I first started listening to you back in 2020. That's what I found you then. I hadn't been here very long, and all of a sudden we couldn't go nowhere or meet nobody, and all my friends were on YouTube. Because, I live in the boonies.
And I want to thank Diana for taking over the 9 candles, because one of the things, putting 9 candles together, I know we make it look seamless, but trust me, it's a lot of responsibility. It takes a lot of time. And I am spacing out. I'm only working about 5 hours a day on the days I work. So getting everybody in the same space, getting all that together was not going to work. So and Diana, when we were talking, she said, "Could I do the 9 candles?" Not now. You get it to the Lionsgate, but when we get through the 9 candles, I'll explain where the ceremony comes from, and it's actually something that was based for each individual to do for themselves. So
right, yeah. As much information as I gave out yesterday. If you missed that video, if you go to my channel and go to the live section, everything that I've done live. Everything that I've done live is going to be in there. And yesterday's show has been posted. It's 30 minutes, and I give a little bit of history about where the term novena comes from and how the Catholic Church made it part of the liturgical year, and all of the others. The Hindu have a celebration of 9. Pagans have a celebration of 9. Jewish people have a celebration of 9 for death. And the Hindu is for birth. And so, like, all bases are covered, and it is ever so universal.
It's a broad topic.
Exactly.
9 is really important.
It sure is. It's the end of a cycle, beginning of a new. And speaking of which, let's all light our candles. Okay. And I have an invocation that I would like to say. And I'm going to go over it for those who probably did not hear me yesterday. So first I'm going to light my candle and set it on the side and say the invocation. Now, for simplicity's sake, and all of us here, I am just going with tea lights every day. One a day. Right? Do what's comfortable for you, right?
Do what you do. You do you.
Okay. So there was a invocation prayer written during World War II. It's by James Dillett Freeman, And it's very simple. And you may have even heard Mary Ann from Revealing Light use it. We are the light. The light is within us. The light surrounds us. The light protects us. We are the light. Well, it's very appropriate for these days. So
Right.
I've added to it that incantation to fit with us. So let's begin. We are the light. The light is within us. The light surrounds us. The light protects us. We are the light. Where there is fear, let us place light. Where there is loneliness, let us place light. Where there is hunger, let us place light. Where there is emptiness, let us place light. Where there is anger, let us place light. Where there is darkness, let us place light. Where there is discomfort, let us place light. Where a child has been lost, let us place light. We are the divine. We are the divine light of both masculine and feminine. The light is within us. The light surrounds us. The light protects us. We are the light. And so mote it be. So, Nancy, how about those ley lines? Is it possible for us to use them as a tool for manifestation?
You have to understand that's what the world's energy runs on. Let's see if I have a picture of kind of ley lines going around the world.
Awesome. I couldn't get mine to transfer. I have one too, and
They have to be PDFs.
Yeah, and I was in Canva trying to do it to get it over here, and then the picture itself wouldn't resize, and
It's not letting me share it. Believe it or not, let me see if I can do it this way. I have a picture of the earth covered with ley lines. And let's see if present. It's not letting me present. I don't
need to do that.
No.
Or that.
I've got it. I've got it below my picture. I can see it, but no, that just makes both of us big. That's fine.
You like big or little?
I don't care. Okay. It's what's easier for people to see. But ley lines are lines, they're energy lines, and they were found in the 1800s in England. They actually were found long before that. The Templars used them. They have a fascinating history. It's like an hour show itself. But can we use the ley lines? You can use the ley lines in as much as appreciating that the whole world is connected by these energy circuits. And one of the reasons we're having so much fun with earthquakes right now is as the sunlight comes in, it attaches the energy, the photonic energy attaches into ley lines and spreads it all around the world. And it tends to cluster in certain places and lead to a lot of dynamics. 2 or 3 years ago, I did a series of shows with a guy named Johan who lived in South Africa, and he was connecting broken ley lines, major ley lines on the planet that for one reason or another had broken. And he was using his spiritual tools and his skills to reconnect them. And I said, why is it so important to reconnect them right now? And he said, because soon there will be so much energy sent into the world that the world will ring like a bell. And if the ley lines aren't tight, it will shatter some of our energy. If you really, really want to know about ley lines, you can go to a channel. Yes, that's Rory. That's Rory Duff's book. But if you want to visually see on YouTube some really, just put ley lines in, and you'll be taken to a man who no longer is alive. His name is Hamish Miller, and he has some wonderful. He went around the world, going to the chakra centers of the world that were on the ley lines, and finding them. And it's fascinating to see how he works with them. You can do that. I know enough about. I have a ley line and I have a tree. I have a tree that's part of the elementals. His name's Hogarth. He's outside my house, and he talks to me. And right now, I'm not strong enough to get to where Hogarth is, even though he's really relatively just outside my front door. But he talks to me all the time. When Danny came to visit me, he came to see Hogarth. And we went and hugged Hogarth. And now, mind you, I live in a condominium community, and we were in a green space. It's part of the condominium community. And we were out there hugging the tree about noon when everybody's walking their dogs. So Danny said, all those people are staring at us. And I said, Danny, we're just hugging a tree. Really? But you can find the ley line. If you go out on the ley line, I'm going to tell you, it's energetically very powerful. When I first found them 3 years ago, the one in front of my house was about 1.5 feet wide, and it goes right underneath Hogarth. And since I've gotten to know where it is, it's expanded out. It's about 4.5, 5 feet wide. All of the ley lines were expanding. They used to wiggle some with the moon, but they quit wiggling and they got straighter and straighter. And now, as I understand it, they're locked in place, protecting us during this time of incredible photonic upheaval. So.
You know, right? Have you ever heard?
Diana just went away. I hope she comes back. I hope she knows. Diana, you're not on the screen. You're black. Welcome to Mercury retrograde. If you have ley lines, they'll generally grow under your trees. And the way you can kind of spot a tree that has a ley line affecting it, it'll have a lot of burls on it, which are those funny little places. There she goes. She blew us up big. And welcome to the wonderful world of YouTube business. But you will find them under trees, and that's a way to find them. I talked to a Akashic Records guy, and he is also an architect, and she's going away and she's going to come back in. And he told me to find a ley line, go out in the woods. Well, in the Texas, that means going to East Texas. So go out in the woods and you'll see trees that have burls on them. And I have pictures of burls I can't show you because none of my pictures are showing up. And he said, you'll find a tree with burls, then go 360 degrees around the tree, and you'll see a tree in a straight line to it that also has burls on it. And that, from that tree to that tree is where the ley line's running, and that ley line is running straight across the woods. There she is.
I learned something new.
What did you learn? What button did you learn?
How to leave and come back without having to copy and paste and send myself an email.
Good. Well, we've learned about how to find ley lines in the woods.
Awesome. Well, and you had mentioned Hamish. I have a book of his with
Hamish Moore,
for dowsing rods, which is another great way to find them.
Yeah, he was brilliant with dowsing rods.
Yes, he was. And you have a website and a lot of them available on your channel.
Oh yeah, dowsing
with
rods.
the grids to go underneath, so you can use it for telling time. And there's a site where you can go and make your own grids so that you can get the kind of answers to the kind of questions you're asking. Right?
Yes. You can. Matter of fact, this coming Tuesday, there's a brilliant company, and I'm blanking on their name, but it's a French company, and they produce all kinds of grids. And
I bet all we have to do is Google that.
Right.
French company that produces dowsing rod grids.
Well,
pendulum grids.
Not so much dowsing rods. They're based on pendulums.
Yes.
And let's see if I can get out of here and into my mail. Because they just sent me twice a year, if you get on their mailing list, they send you updates on grids. Let's see, it's going to take me to.
Yeah, I think I created a couple that are posted on there too. So sometimes what you see are things that other fans have
Mhm.
posted.
Right. Everything that's on there someone made, but they have a new one that's on what is the best divination tool for you with your energy to do. So I'm going to show that on Tuesday on my show.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. So, okay, so then these ley lines can lead to a grid, right? Because don't they connect in sacred spaces?
Oh, that ley lines connect sacred energy, and they don't necessarily have to make a grid, but where they intersect, they make power points, and that's important to know.
Right? Like what's his name? Lafont. He knew what he was doing when he set up DC because they're all on ley lines.
Oh yeah, and there's Rory Duff did it's an interesting, if you can stay awake, documentary on following the Templars and how the Templars followed ley lines across Europe and into the Atlas Mountains. They found a Templar worship place in the middle of the mountains no one knew about because they followed the ley lines to it.
Yeah. So I have one here in my backyard that is the same one that goes into Lansing, and then it catches up with another one and ends up over in Stonehenge.
Right.
And so I'm very excited about that because it's going right through my backyard.
Well, there's a dragon line that goes from the West Coast to Holy Hill in Wisconsin.
Right.
And dragon lines are just ley lines with attitude. They're just much bigger ley lines.
Well, and you know what? Where I'm located, the direction to Lansing is the one to Holy Hill. So it's awesome. It is. And what's fun about this, in case you didn't know, I have become a beekeeper. And
yes.
So I use my dowsing rods to help me set up where the right place was to put the hives. And there is a spot in my grass that is a big circle that is totally green.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my fairy has
right.
dance parties all the time, right?
Right.
So the beehives are just beyond that. And that green section, no weeds, just nice plush green grass growing all by itself. Right. And so that is such a magical spot that I want to put up a big medicine wheel, but I should just put a little something so that green stays on the inside.
Couldn't you use it as the middle of your medicine wheel?
Yeah, that's another thing, but it's now because of where the hives are. And
no, you're not going to do
that. Right. It's going to be too much interference. Although I do have a gentle variety who knows what happens as they begin to morph successfully. I hope. Right. So the grids you build, which I absolutely love mine, of course. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The grids like this would be more personal for us individually.
Right. It's based on your vibration, and it's sending you through. The crystals help me find the way to form them to match what you need.
Okay. So.
And they can stay forever. I've had people order a couple different grids because they want to do different things, but one grid will do everything. I have the family grid I built in 2019 is still working. It's still over here humming away. But that's when I built, before I affixed grids. When I first was building grids, I was building them with stones for people that I could physically meet with. And they, and I would build it, then I'd take it apart, give them a picture, bring them the stones, have it all laid out, have the grid all mapped out, tell them how to build them, and they would build them back in their own homes. And they could, if they wanted to put another stone in there, they could if they felt so inclined. Because I have to send them to places like Wisconsin, I affix them now. And so in all the grids I make, and the last one that I have in possession, this has to go. Oh, this is one that's going to go to Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeffrey.
And
beautiful. We have
it's the Merkaba. It's a combination of Merkaba and Delight.
That's beautiful.
But
I
I
love
have
the background color on that too.
yeah, he picked that. He said, I love yellow. And I will ask people, do you have a color you really, really like? And as long as it's not a clash, I will work with it.
You know, maybe you know the answer to this because I have forgotten or I never really found the information, but do ley lines follow like the luminaries in planets? Do they align themselves
Necessarily.
that
The
way?
ley lines are earth based.
Earth only, right? So
Right.
influence, but no direct
Well,
creation.
if you watch Stefan Brun, he's on YouTube, Stefan Brun.
Oh,
He's a geophysicist, and he
oh yeah.
also he also he studied astrology, and he studies lots of dynamic things, and he's really become he's where science and our world mix. And he talks about how just now they're beginning to understand how like the extra photonic energy from the sun
Yeah.
is helping us. And in 2017, our part of the our part of the galaxy rotated away from a cloud that for some reason really kept the more heavy photonic energy from hitting our planet. And geologists knew this was coming because in the stones that, and I found this out from working with crystals, in the crystals, they can see deformities that happen every 13,000 years. But they can figure out why. So they found it 13,000 years ago. Then they went and found it 26,000 years ago. Then they found it 36,000 years ago. And as far back as you can go on the rocks. And I don't know what they're looking at because that all gets into science. I don't know. But so when we rotated out of that, they said it'll be interesting to see. And that has become, and that's also part of the legends that if you follow the spiritual path and the greater universal path, that they said we humans go through transformation of time. And of course, 13,000 years ago, we were around, but we weren't around in a way that could say, ooh, things are changing. Now we have the fine-tuned stuff to say, uh, oh, Ripe Color just posted Stefan Brun's YouTube channel.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm a fan of his too. I get you.
Yeah, and I give everyone permission if you need permission to do this. There are people who think if I start a book, I have to go to the last page. If he gets too sciencey or too many numbers, whiz past it. And you'll see when he gets to his next break of topic. And
Yeah.
I do that all the time because I know much of what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear it again and again and again. But if you've never heard it before, hang in there.
Right. And read it a second time till you absorb
it. And it really explains. Kath, you've got an interesting question, and I can't highlight it, but it says, do ley lines radiate colors or different energies?
That was another thing I wanted to discuss.
I don't see them in color. I see all of the light that goes through them as white light. But yes, they do. And they are connecting. What I was told is they're sort of the subway system for the elementals.
Right.
It goes around the globe. That's another thing they're there.
And doesn't it come from the nickel core of the very, very center of the earth, and then the liquid around it creates this electromagnetic that creates a frequency
that's all part of it. But ley lines are ancient trails left for us to follow.
I agree.
So they got, I don't know who set them up. I don't know if Puff the Magic Dragon did it. I don't know. But they're there. And when you walk on them, you will feel the energy. And when I was first messing around with Hogarth and learning about the ley line out there, I would come in the afternoon, I would be stripped of energy. And Hogarth can talk to me in my house. I don't have to go out and talk to him. And he just said, you stood too long on the ley lines.
He lets you know.
He let me know.
Yeah.
So, and honest to God, guys, a little bit of something is I explored a little bit, and then I give myself space because we can burn out ourselves. Hi, Doug.
Right. even if it's a plant-based medicine like the salves that I create, it's medicine. It's meant to be medicine, and you can overdo anything.
Right.
And turn it all. So anybody can walk on a ley line because they are universal. They're just out there.
But if you hang out on it and you start to feel woozy, get off.
Right. And if you don't know it's there and you get that way, begin to realize, oh.
You can find ley lines with the dowsing rods you just had. That's how a Hamish teaches people to find them. You can also find them. I have a little metal pendulum that I'll carry in my hand, and it will vibrate when I go over them.
Yeah. So I think that brings us to about the end of this. I know that ley lines can be different widths and that you can widen them and narrow them. But what about if you had one running through your bedroom or the middle of your bed and you're not going to switch your bedroom around?
Okay. I would go to a shaman and have them help me if I wasn't sure what to do. My friend that's the architect that knows all about them, there's a lot of ley lines up where he builds houses, and he scans the property for him, because if you build a ley line under your house, the ley line does not mean to cause you harm, but energy's coming up through there and your body may not be ready for it. So they have a way of taking crystals and realigning the energy from the ley line and sending it to the outsides or sending it away from you. And he had a fascinating story about a woman who called him in, and he was at an architect's conference that had a Peruvian shaman who's also an architect and knows all about ley lines. And so they went up to this woman's house, and she had a ley line that ran right through her daughter's bedroom. And since they'd moved in that house, that child had been sick. So the first thing that the shaman did is came back the next day and he set a barrier up to move it outside. And he said, you really need to maybe move her out of that room. So they moved the daughter into the den and made the den the room that had, because nobody spends enough time. Well, I would, but most people don't spend enough time in a den to notice it. So, and then when the woman was going to build a new house, she decided she was tired of moving crystals around to keep everything balanced. She went ahead and built a new house. And so the architect and the Peruvian shaman, who happened to be back in town again, showed up, and they looked at it, and they had to rotate how the house was going to be built on the property, because once again, she'd found a big old fat ley line goes run right through her house. So they rotated the house so the ley line goes right beyond it. And then they created a portal for the energy from that space to go down into the ground rather than having the energy stay centered in her house. Now, guys, I didn't do that. This is what I'm told. The people who told me this have been spot on about so many other things. I trust what they're talking about.
That's awesome. Yeah, when I first moved into this house, I was wondering if there was one in the house, because this one room, actually two rooms, the master bedroom, and then the official living room, which I really use as a studio. They're right above, right? They're right in line with each other. And right below that is my pump house. So I have all my indoor well water plumbing inside. And at first I was wondering about that. But what I later discovered was the people who had lived here, their 34-year-old son had got pancreatic cancer and had died in 3 months and left little children. And he was a well-honored and well-liked teacher in high school, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, that was all energy of the sorrow, especially of the mom. That was her firstborn. So, lots of tears and lots of crying in that bedroom, and probably that living room too, because that was formal. And so she probably watched her TV in there while Papa watched his TV out here where I as the den. So it's just I finally did clear that energy out of there, but it took 5 years. I couldn't sleep in that room because of it. But at least I discovered it wasn't a ley line.
No, it's that
Yeah.
energy is energy. And really, if you want to know about ley lines, go read up about them with people who've spent a lot more time. Rory Duff goes all over the world reconnecting ley lines and straightening them out and helping them learn, getting them to fly right. And he has whole groups of people that do it. And you can go to his website and look his stuff up.
Mm-hmm. And now he had gotten sick too, so hopefully his health is back on par.
I don't know. I've not heard any more since I knew he was sick. Grid lines are not ley lines. Grid lines are things we mark for ourselves. Ley lines are in the ground. They're part of the elemental energy that holds the planet together.
Right? Can be followed straight to the core if you can go that far.
Right.
Well, honey, are you tuckered out enough? Did I make
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. But I'm going to tell people I'll be on this Sunday with Scott at 10 o'clock. If you go over and like and subscribe on my channel, then you will get notifications of it. That's the only political show I do. And we don't do People Magazine politics. We do issues politics. And
real live politics, because you know this business very well.
I used to be a political consultant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can be doing spiritual work for the next 100 years and not make up for that. But anyway, I only ran good people. I think.
I think so too. I can't imagine you didn't have the same integrity then that you have now.
No, because one thing you'll find is, who was we talking about? I did a show with Danny about going back to our roots, and I even wore my bathrobe because I wanted to make him feel home. But he and I were talking about how at your base you can't tell a lie, and that got me in a lot of trouble because in that world there's a lot of, they call it obfuscating and everything else. They're lying. I mean, any 5-year-old would say, no, that's a lie. And we can't do that. And I try to teach people to deal with integrity and not do that. So I love being here. I've loved seeing so many names that I recognize, and tomorrow's the day I'm going to start sending out the thank you notes to the people. Now, if you gave to me anonymously, I can't send you a thank you note, but please realize every penny you give me takes a little less pressure on me to stay in line and do what I need to do. I'm also still doing readings. I'm also still teaching classes. We haven't decided about the next ones till after I see where my health is. And I'm going to start making some big decisions in September. But I'm still here.
Well, and as soon as Angela's health is together enough, which is any day now, she and I are going to go back to doing crystal garden readings.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal garden readings on her.
Angela lives, I can drive to Angela's house.
Oh, that's too much fun.
Yes, she just lives east of me. If I go west, I'll have to drive all around. If I go east, I can do it.
There's no ley line that takes you through the ocean so easily on a car.
No, not really. But everybody take time. It's really a time of great healing. What was I saw? I saw a guy who was talking about tearing up our soul contracts, and as we're losing our soul contracts, our ego will feel it's a loss. Our body will feel it's a painful abandonment, but our soul will realize it's freedom.
And this is a very powerful year because so many of these outer planets making this big shift into new signs that they're going to be spending 10, 20, 30, 40 years in. Thank you. So going to be in Gemini. Uranus is going into Gemini. He's going to be there for a while. So all of this is going on right now. And that is what is adding to the power of this year. So if you're keeping journals, remember that this is also a time of manifestation. and write into your journal the pros, the cons, what you want, what you don't want, and be specific. If you want a new paramour, write down to the color of his hair. What do you want him to look like? Write it in there.
Have you ever read the book Angel Speak with an E on the end?
Yes.
They do. They have a chapter in there that is probably one of the best descriptions of how to do an intentions list that I've ever seen.
And I will pull that book out and bring it in for tomorrow so that I can find.
It's really tiny, guys. You can read it in an afternoon. It's a book I wish I had read. I didn't find it until I was in my 60s. It's a book I much would have loved to have had in my 20s. And
yeah, I will dig it out for this occasion. It's worth it. So thank you, Nancy Jean, so much for coming in and being number one.
Thank you. Well, I know I'm number one. You just made it official.
Blessings, everybody.
Take care.
See you later. Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.